What's up, guys? It's your boy Dean back at it with another video. Alright, today we've got another top 10 list today, and today I will be getting straight into it because these videos seem to be like they're over 30 minutes long, and I don't want to make them 30 minutes long because I want you guys to enjoy them, and I want to, put them out there, if you know what I mean. So hopefully you guys will still enjoy these. I'll be naming a little bit why they're my favourite, but I'm trying to keep them to a minimum. But this is just my top 10 favourite movies of all time. So just movies overall. Alright, so coming in at 10th is Halloween, the 2018 one. So it follows up from the original Halloween, the 1978 one. And this one is set 40 years after the original one. And it's basically, the plot to this is basically Laurie Strode is the survivor from the original one. It's basically her trying to survive and trying to move on from what happened to her. But this is my favorite 10th favorite because this movie is one of the only horror movies that actually made me jump a little bit and actually gives me a little bit of, scare, if you want to put it, because Halloween is one of the oldest horror movies that I've watched, and one of the first horror movies that I've watched. So there's just something about it that actually gets me every time, about just the Michael Myers mask. So sorry about that, guys. All right. But yeah, there's something about that just gets me every time. And the 2018 one, it's my 10th favorite because it shows Michael in a different perspective than it does in any others. He's got a worn down mask, which looked really nice. He's more violent in this one than he is in most of the others, which is pretty cool. And yeah, well, it just it's my 10th favorite because oh god, sorry about that, guys, my jaw hurts. It's a really good film, but it can't compare to any of the others. But it's one of my favorite horror movies in general. And ow. So yeah, but that's why that's my 10th favorite. All right. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about this, so I'll get on to the next one. All right, coming in at 9th is The Meg. If you don't know what The Meg is basically a film trying to explain a bit about the shark called the Megalodon. If you don't know what that is, basically the Megalodon is a prehistoric shark, apparently, that existed millions and millions of years ago. It was said to be the biggest shark that ever existed, and not only that, one of the biggest animals ever to exist. It was said to be about 60 to 80 feet long, 80 being the max. If you don't know how long that is, pretty freaking long. It's a huge boy, and I've always loved facts about this because I watched some facts on YouTube about stuff like this, that facts about prehistoric animals, basically, if you know what I mean, because I always think that they're really interesting, if you know what I mean. And the Megalodon is one of the most interesting creatures, or prehistoric creatures just in general, to me, because I just like hearing facts about them. And I've always sharks are just pretty cool creatures in general. So and the Meg is just a really interesting film because it tells you quite a lot of facts about the Meg, and there's more than one Meg in this film as well, which is really, really interesting. And the death of the Meg as well is crazy. But yeah, it's my 9th favorite because there's not a lot of films in history that tells you a lot about facts about prehistoric creatures like this. So it's really enjoyable if you enjoy prehistoric creatures and just want to enjoy a lot of like interesting facts about them, if you know what I mean. But anyway, getting into the others. Coming in at 8th is Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is my 8th favorite because I I had a lot of nostalgia with this. It's one of the oldest films ever that I've watched, and I've watched a lot of toys. I've watched all the Toy Stories, and I watched Toy Story 2 probably the most out of them all, and it's just a very enjoyable Toy Story. It's Jesus, I can't stop yawning, guys. I'm sorry. um what's it called? It's a really enjoyable Toy Story. To the it's not a lot of fan favorites, because if you ask a lot of fans what's their favorite Toy Story, most of them would particularly say the original, probably the original one. And the original one is amazing. It's my second favorite, but in my opinion, Toy Story 2 just beats Toy Story 1 in my opinion. Uh, because it's just got a really like better story in my opinion. It's got some more better characters in, and I just really really enjoy it. And I've watched it more than any others. Oh my god. At this point, I can't even say what I want to say, so I'm just gonna move on, guys. I'm sorry about this. Alright, coming in at number 7 is Cars 1. The first Cars, the original Cars. Now, Cars 1 is an amazing film. It's got some of the best music from almost any movie ever in Cars. I love it. Obviously, you got the main character in this, Lightning McQueen, and he's a really it's set basically, obviously, like in the name, cars. It's about basically cars that can talk. There's no like humans or anything in it or anything like that, basically. But yeah, it's about cars that can talk, and it's honestly just amazing. It's obviously the plot to it is basically Lightning McQueen trying to win a piston cup. But he goes off and he goes off with his buddy Mac, who basically travels him around, and basically he falls asleep one night, and he gets out of the trailer. Basically, he manages to roll out somehow, and he wakes up when a thing's coming right towards him. So then he tries to catch up with Mac, but he can't. So he goes off a route. So he goes into a different town, and basically it's called Radiator Springs. And yeah, he meets a lot of new people there, and they show him a different town, and they show him a lot of stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is my favorite Cars by far, because it's got some of the best music in. It's got a very emotional story, in my opinion. It's got a really good story, and it just shows you sides of characters that you just wouldn't see, and it's just amazing. Literally, if you haven't watched Cars, guys, I honestly recommend to trying it. If you haven't watched Cars in general, I don't know how. But Cars 1 is amazing. But anyway, coming in at number 6 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is came out in 2013, if I remember, 2013 or 2014, 2014, I think, and it's the best Captain America film, because Captain America has his own like trilogy of films. You've got Captain America: The First Avenger, which is the first one. Then you've got The Winter Soldier, this one, which is the second one, and then you've got Captain America: Civil War. That's one of the most fan favorites, because you've got obviously Iron Man versus Captain America, who fight in that movie, which is a thing. By the way, just saying, Iron Man won that fight. But anyway, you've got that fight that happened. But Captain America: The Winter Soldier is my favorite, because back in the first film, what's it called? The First Avenger is set in the 1940s. Basically, I think the Second World War was happening at this time. I think it's set before that, actually. I can't remember when it's actually set. It's set in basically the Second World War, if I remember right. Wait. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it is. But it's my sixth favorite, because this film, alongside of the Punisher TV series, like I mentioned, these two films have got some of the greatest fight scenes in anything that I've ever seen. Captain America has a fight scene with the Winter Soldier in this, aka Bucky Barnes. That was his best friend in the first Captain America film, but obviously he's a good guy in the first one. But in the second one, this one, he gets like brainwashed, and he tries to kill people. Basically, he's an assassin, basically. So Captain America and the Winter Soldier have a fight in this one, and this one is just honestly, it's amazing. The fight scenes in this and just it overall as a film is just amazing. It really is. Oh, yeah, this one's not going to be a long one. I'm sorry, guys. It turns out that I'm actually more tired. I'm tired, and I can't speak for some reason. But anyway, all right. Coming in at 5th is Avengers: Infinity War. This is the second to last Avengers film. This one came out in 2018, and Avengers: Infinity War is just overall an amazing Avengers film. It is. It's one of the best Marvel films overall. Overall, it's my second best Marvel film, but overall, it is just an amazing. Oh god, I can't speak. But it's got some fight scenes with Thanos in. It's got a lot of action in it, which is really good. It's got probably more. Some more. It's got probably some of the best fight scenes than any other Marvel film. Let's say. Obviously, other than Endgame, but not Endgame. Infinity War is just an amazing one because it's got one of the biggest cast list in any Marvel film. It's got a very big cast list. Infinity War, same with Endgame, but I think even Infinity War's got a bigger cast list. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but I think it has. So it's got a lot of good actors in there. It's got some really good CGI in it. It's got some good fights. Overall, it's just a very, very good film to watch. And it's a long film as well. So it's got a lot of enjoyability in it. You know, it's an enjoyable film. Alright, coming in at number 4 is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie to ever exist. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. This is 4th because it's got the best fight scene in any Star Wars movie ever, in my opinion, aka Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Another side rant about that. Anakin kind of won, in my opinion. Other than, obviously, Obi-Wan getting the high ground. I've always had this thought that if Anakin did not be a retard and jump over Obi-Wan and try to hit him, if they were on a level playing field, if Obi-Wan and Anakin were to fight on a level playing field, Anakin would wreck Obi-Wan. He'd eventually overpower Obi-Wan, and he'd kill Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would not have been able to keep up if it weren't for that moment. So, but anyway, it's my favorite Star Wars film because it's got some very good fights in it. It's not just got the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. It's also got the Anakin and Obi-Wan against what's his name, Count Dooku. But obviously, shall I say, it's mostly just an Anakin versus Count Dooku fight. Obi-Wan does help for a little bit, but after that he gets knocked out by Count Dooku, so then Anakin just has to take him on by himself, and he still wins. So you've got some really good fights in this film. The plot overall to the film is very, very, very good. It's a very enjoyable film. It's quite long as well, the film, which is good, so it's a long, enjoyable film. But overall, as a film, it is just amazing. It's got very good music as well. The music for when Obi-Wan and Anakin fight is just amazing. But this, as a film, is just a very good film. It's the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion. And I've watched this the most times out of any Star Wars movie as well. It's just a very, very enjoyable Star Wars film. And just film overall. Anyway, moving on. Alright, in 3rd place is The Dark Knight. Not The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012, I believe. But The Dark Knight came out in 2008, if I believe. This is the one with Heath Ledger in, the best Joker, in my opinion. The Dark Knight plot basically is obviously to stop Joker. That's pretty much the main plot of the film. But obviously, it's got the best Joker in my opinion, Heath Ledger. And he overall, as an actor, even in general, is absolutely breathtaking. He is amazing as a Joker. I'm telling you now. He does so good as the Joker. It's actually unreal, guys. Just like in that film, Christian Bale, aka Batman. He does a very, very good job as Batman. But this is definitely my third favourite because this overall as a film is amazing. It's a very long film, if I remember right. I think it's 2.5 hours, almost. I think it's actually close to 3 hours. It's a long film, very enjoyable. I just wish Joker was in more scenes. He's in quite a bit of scenes in this film, but he's not in enough scenes, I'd say. But he's got some absolutely amazing scenes in this film. Overall, he does such a good job, and he even won an Emmy, if I remember right. But unfortunately, he died, so he couldn't accept it. Well, the actor died, so he couldn't have accepted it. But overall, this is an enjoyable film, a really enjoyable film, and it's got the best Joker in my opinion. And it's just an enjoyable film to watch if you're sad or if you're down, feeling down, etc., etc. But anyway, coming in at number 2 is the best Marvel film ever, in my opinion, Avengers Endgame. Endgame came out in 2019. It hyped up every single Marvel fan ever. It is just amazing. And if I'm watching you, if you're watching this, Callum, if you think you're a Marvel fan, you're not. I'm joking, but because if I know you, you're probably saying to yourself right now, well, it didn't hype me up. That's probably because you're not a Marvel fan. And because if I remember right, you really like Deadpool, but that's probably one of the only Marvel films that you like. And yes, it's a Marvel film, but you can't just watch one Marvel film and call yourself a Marvel fan. But anyway, regardless, it hyped up pretty much every single true Marvel fan ever, because it showed a lot of new sides to new characters in this, because throughout most of it, Thor's hammer, aka Mjolnir, was not able to be lifted by anyone, apart from obviously him and Odin. But in this film, Captain America wields Mjolnir, which is actually amazing. When he wields it, it is just amazing. It hyped up so many fans and so many people. It's a long film as well. It's literally 3 hours. I think it's 3 hours and 1 minute, which is amazing. It's also got an alternate ending to where basically they actually lose. The Avengers lose to Thanos. So it's got an alternate ending, which is actually amazing, because I don't think enough films nowadays have alternate endings. In my opinion, I'm going to say it now, more films should have alternate endings, I think, because I'd really love to see that. Especially in horror films. I'd love to see it in horror films. Maybe, for example, in Scream, I'd love to see an alternate ending for every Scream movie where Ghostface actually wins. I'd love him to actually kill everybody or most people in the film, and I'd love him to actually win. Same with Halloween. I'd love Michael Myers to kill everyone and see what he does. But anyway. But yeah, it's my second film because I've watched this the most times out of every Marvel film, and probably the most times out of every film on this list, probably. But it's got a very very big cast list, but I don't think it's as big as Infinity War. It's got the biggest budget out of every movie here, if I remember right. I think I could be wrong though. It's got the most CGI as well, if I remember right, than any others. I think it's either in Infinity War or Endgame, and it's just overall as a movie amazing. It's just wow. Right. Anyway, coming in finally is the Joker movie that came out in 2019. That had the second, in my opinion, it's got the second best Joker of all time, Joaquin Phoenix. Now this Joker is still amazing, not as good as Heath Ledger in my opinion, but still an amazing Joker. Now the only reason why I put this above The Dark Knight, despite The Dark Knight having a better Joker in, is because the entire plot to the Joker film is better than The Dark Knight, and the Joker overall as a film is better than The Dark Knight. Obviously, Heath Ledger as a Joker is better than Joaquin Phoenix as a Joker by quite a mile. That's how good Heath Ledger is. But the Joker film overall is just absolutely breathtaking. It's quite sad, and I mean it's emotionally sad. It's quite driven as well. It's disturbing. It's a disturbing film, but in a good way. And overall, it's just a very enjoyable film. We're shown sides to the Joker that we've never seen before, and we're finally showed how Joker got to how he was the Joker, if you know what I mean, and what his real name is. So yeah, we're showed a side to Joker that we've never seen before, and we get to see why Batman become a thing, or who Batman is, basically. You know what I mean, basically. So the Joker is one of the most no, just in general, it's the most enjoyable film ever. And if you haven't watched it, I honestly recommend watching it. It is just amazing. But it's sad, but it's really emotionally driven, and it's just a very, very enjoyable film. But it's disturbing, but very good. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here, guys. I'm sorry if I've kept it a bit shorter than normal. Normally, I'd actually make this a bit longer, if anything, but I'm actually quite tired, so I'm gonna get some sleep soon. Or I'm gonna take a nap, whatever, guys. But anyway, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like. You know what to do, basically. And yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this list, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.